So let's first get started with what Article 370 was all about before it got abrogated. It guaranteed special status to J&K. It allowed the state assembly to make its own constitution. There was a separate state set of laws for J&K. Special powers were exercised. There was dual citizenship. Separate flag for J&K existed. The state was in charge of policing. Article 360, which deals with financial emergency, was not applicable for J&K. There was no reservation for minorities. Indian citizens from other states could not buy land or property in Jammu and Kashmir. Also, RTI was not applicable in Jammu and Kashmir. But all of this is now changed. No special powers. The single citizenship, tricolor will be the only flag. Center supervisors, policing, 360. Article 360, financial emergency will be applicable. Minorities will be eligible for reservation. People from other states can buy property, and like I said, RTI will now be applicable. Duration of the Legislative Assembly would be for 5 years like any other state. So what were the arguments for abrogation of 370? First argument was that it was anyway a temporary provision. Special privileges were temporary and cannot be made into rights. Now, and also that it clashes with Article 14, which guarantees equality. The arguments against primarily were around how the same provision of 370 cannot be used to dilute it, and things cannot be done without the concurrence of Parliament. What the abrogation means now is that all clauses of Article 370 of the Constitution, which gives special status to Jammu and Kashmir, will not be applicable in the state. Joining me now from Srinagar is senior journalist Mir Farid, who's been covering this region for over 2 decades. So good to see you, Farid. It's been a long time that we have interacted on air, and today is, I suppose, just the appropriate moment for us to chat.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, it's kind of flashback to those Kashmir mornings now, because Kashmir used to be very newsy those days. Of late, it has, I mean, things have quietened down, but great. Lovely to chat here again.
This is a big headline for the day. The fact that 370, the scrapping of 370 has been upheld by the Supreme Court. A very detailed verdict has been read out by the Chief Justice of India. Now, before I go into all the nitty-gritties, for my audience, I want you to give me the big takeaway. What are we saying here? When we say 370 का scrapping जो है उसको सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने धब्बा लगा दिया है, that has been stamped and sealed, उसका मतलब क्या है?
Actually, it's a big development and a big victory for government of India, because अभी तक जो भी लोग थे, they used to question the legal sanctity ना, they're calling it unconstitutional and against all the provisions of the constitutions, the special status, and the biggest point was that more than the parliament, the constituent assembly जो जम्मू कश्मीर की थी, it should this should have been done by them. So parliament did not have the what do you call it as the they did not have the clout over this, jurisdiction over this. So now what the Supreme Court has quite categorically said, you cannot have two states within a state. तो आपका एक अलग कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन नहीं हो सकता, आप एक अलग फ्लैग नहीं हो सकता, आप एक जो है एक फेडरल सिस्टम में यू हैव टू बी लाइक एनी अदर स्टेट, सो देयर कांट बी अ स्पेशल प्रोविजन फॉर a state. So basically what they have said is कि whatever the government did was pretty much right according to the law. So वो बात बिल्कुल क्लियर हो चुकी है. और एक और इम्पोर्टेंट बात जो बाहर आई है कि 24 और 2024 सितंबर से पहले आप इलेक्शन कर दीजिए. तो वो एक इम्पोर्टेंट पॉइंट है यहाँ की पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज के लिए, क्योंकि काफी समय से वो ये बात कर रहे थे कि व्हाई हैव यू, आई मीन व्हाई इज द डेमोक्रेटिक प्रोसेस नॉट पार्ट ऑफ जम्मू कश्मीर, अब यहाँ इलेक्शंस क्यों नहीं हो रहे लाइक अदर स्टेट्स. सो एक उनके लिए अच्छी बात यह है कि ऐसा लग रहा है कि अब जो है इलेक्शन ज्यादा दूर नहीं है. या तो पार्लियामेंट्री इलेक्शंस के साथ हो सकते हैं, इवन उससे पहले भी हो सकते हैं, लेकिन सितंबर से 2024 से पहले इलेक्शंस होंगे. अब स्टेटहुड का वापस आएगा, वो भी अब एक अगला सवाल है, क्योंकि अब इससे आगे बढ़ना पड़ेगा उनको, क्योंकि सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने जो है इन मेनी वेज रैटिफाइड इट. इट हैज एब्सोल्युटली said that the stand of government of India was right. Whatever they did was right, and it was within the constitution to do it. The president had the powers, even if the constitutional assembly was not in session. So all those things have been a big tick has been given to that. So that is important. That's big.
Yes. You know what we were discussing before I started the show is that जो JNK का special status था, एक constituent assembly होता था, एक constitution होता था. That is why it is a state that was different from the rest, because as per
Yes.
the terms of accession, ये सारा एक सिस्टम जम्मू एंड कश्मीर में चल रहा था. क्या वो सब अब डिफंक्ट हो जाएगा? क्या कोई कंस्टिट्यूएंट असेंबली नहीं रहेगा? कोई जम्मू एंड कश्मीर का अलग कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन नहीं रहेगा?
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, वो तो इट ऑलरेडी सीज टू एग्जिस्ट सिंस अगस्त 2019. और अब जो है एक सुप्रीम कोर्ट, बिकॉज यहाँ की इफ यू नो quite a few petitions had been made against this, calling it unconstitutional. There were some very big shots as far as lawyers like Kapil Sibal, and there are so many other people who were basically pleading against this. And उसके बाद जो है अब सुप्रीम कोर्ट की तरफ से कहना कि ये जो जजमेंट आया है, तो ऑब्वियसली इट क्लोजेस ऑल द डोर्स एंड ऑल द डिसेंट. बेसिकली जो भी यहाँ की पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज थी या जो भी लोग इसके खिलाफ सुप्रीम कोर्ट गए थे, तो उनको एक मैसेज चला गया ओवरऑल कि भाई दिस इज ऑल लीगल, इट हैज बीन डन इन अ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल मैनर. एंड जो आपके चैलेंज थे वो कहीं ना कहीं सही नहीं थे. आपके कुछ पॉइंट्स थे जैसे इलेक्शन होना चाहिए या फिर स्टेटहुड वापस मिलना चाहिए. सो in on that context, the Supreme Court has in a way advised, or should I say told the government कि हाँ, you need to take a stand on those two issues which are pretty much genuine. But as far as the legal position, as far as 370 abrogation is concerned, is quite categorical now. It has got the legal stamp कि भाई it was all right, and the government was well within its right, and whatever provisions it used through parliament, it was right. So it is basically a page has been turned over, and now the political...
basically ये कहा गया है कि exercise of power by the center in this matter, in abrogation of article 370, is not nullified. It is not an extraneous exercise. ये कहा गया कि that the state did not retain any element of sovereignty, क्योंकि वो क्वेश्चन लाया गया था कि JNK retains an element of sovereignty. सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कहा नहीं. जैसा आपने कहा कि बाकी स्टेट्स के एक्ट पार हो गए हैं, कुछ अलग स्पेशल स्टेटस नहीं रहा है. लेट्स टॉक अबाउट द लोकल पॉलिटिक्स नाउ. Where does it leave the muftis and the Abdullahs, because they were dead against abrogation till the last moment? They were of course championing the cause of taking it back, removing the abrogation. They wanted 370 retained. Where does it leave them?
See, as far as two main political parties, regional parties are concerned, one is National Conference, other is the PDP. So, if you, go back or take a flashback of the last 1 year, and you see the political activity, you see the big statements of their leaders, especially, Umar Abdullah, Farooq Abdullah, as far as NC is concerned, Mehbooba Mufti for PDP. You will see PDP जो है, Mehbooba Mufti has been kind of very aggressive because she knows if you look at PDP, post abrogation and after BJP and PDP parted ways, जो सरकार यहाँ बनाई थी, तो PDP stocks have fallen. I mean, the leaders have left the party. So basically, PDP में अभी, if you look beyond Mehbooba Mufti, you will find a big face. Okay. So in a way, Mehbooba had nothing to lose. She had to go hammer and tongs against this, and she's going. If you look at her statements of very aggressive, very anti-BJP government, calling it unconstitutional, using very, very strong adjectives. But if you similarly analyze Umar Abdullah, National Conference, they have been pretty measured. They have not gone all guns blazing. So that tells you that there is a silent acceptability as far as National Conference is concerned. ये तो हो चुका है. We have to live beyond it. We have to move beyond it. We have to shape our politics, keeping in mind the new changes, the chattering changes. तो उन्होंने कहीं ना कहीं accept कर लिया. Although this is a big political issue, still it will remain because national this is 370, is a pretty emotive issue. जम्मू कश्मीर और खासकर कश्मीर में. So हाँ, बिल्कुल आप ये नहीं कह सकते कि वो बिल्कुल इसको छोड़ देंगे. They will try to use it. They will try to tell people कि भाई we'll get it back, we'll fight for it. So that may be one of their slogans come whatever next election will see. कि हम 370 से लड़ते रहेंगे. कितना उसमें genuinity है? We can't say that, but obviously on the face of it, just for the political benefits, they'll definitely use it. You will see PDP using it more than National Conference, but regional parties को use करेंगे कि we'll get it back.
हाँ, because political parties का क्या होता है? They have to go by popular sentiment. उनको चाहिए क्या? They want votes. Yeah. So they would have to ride the tide or ride the wave as per where the people's wishes are. तो उस हिसाब से देखा जाए तो व्हाट इज द पॉपुलर सेंटिमेंट लाइक, लोग क्या चाहते हैं? बिकॉज हम जितने भी रिपोर्ट्स देखते हैं हमेशा सरकार का पर्सपेक्टिव, रीजनल पार्टीज का पर्सपेक्टिव, व्हाट अबाउट द पीपल देयर? बिकॉज एक हमें ये बार बार नैरेटिव जो है चलाया जा रहा है कि थिंग्स हैव इम्प्रूव्ड आफ्टर एब्रोगेशन, एक इंटीग्रेशन हो गया है, भारत एक हो गया है, ब्ला ब्ला ब्ला. सो बट आर पीपल कन्विंस्ड? पीपल ऑफ जम्मू एंड कश्मीर कन्विंस्ड? Are they happy with the abrogation? Do they feel that things have improved after abrogation?
देखिए, जहाँ तक if you talk of numbers, there is no doubt situation has improved. See, violence has come down. There is no doubt about it. Stone pelting has come down. Terror-related incidents have come down. तो उसमें कोई शक नहीं है because there was this single-handed approach give a single-minded approach कि भाई we have to control the situation, even if it's people may call you as doing it with an iron hand, but it is better to do that and save lives. So that has been the approach of the government. Obviously, it was an emotive issue, and who wouldn't want a special status? I mean, if you are you live anywhere and if you're given some special things like right to jobs, right to land, domicile, and various other things, and that obviously anyone would like. So people here were in a emotive attached to Article 370. They wanted it to stay in any which way, just to guarantee them certain things in the constitution, and like jobs, as I said, land and other things. So people still, I mean, think it was a good thing, but I mean, Kashmir, it has been under turmoil for 30 years. So there is a fatigue element as well. So these are very interesting questions and aspects that we would want to keep an eye on. But as I said, elections is something that we should focus on. And elections will tell you answer quite a few questions that remain unanswered in our conversation as well.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I think we should just end with that. And like you said, this election, whether it's the state election, whenever that is announced, and the parliamentary election, will give us a sense of what people think, what people feel. And that ultimately is the most important thing, whether people actually feel that, because like you said, the abrogation has been in place, people have seen how it has worked, and this was only the final call taken by the Supreme Court. So people have seen it before and after, and as we always say, Janta Janardhan. That is how the final verdict will come out. Thank you so much for
Absolutely.
Have a nice day.
It was a pleasure.